So our new anime begins with Princess Angelus. The kingdom of Mitsurugi was in its peaceful days, and Angelus was set to take the throne of the kingdom. In this world all the peoples were blessed by mana, and Princess was loved by the people of the entire kingdom, and her day for baptism was approaching as well. But there were a few exceptions in world. Childs who were born without the blessings of the mana are seen as monsters and under the rule of the kingdom. Those without mana must be killed. They are called norma, and all the normas are girls. There, it was the first time Angelus saw Norma child, and the mother was struggling to save her newborn. But Angelus told that women to let go of that veiled creature and bear a second child in the hopes of being blessed by mana. It was the most rubbish thing to say to a mother as a woman. And even so, Angelus didn't know where she did the wrong and stayed up late at night. Her mother found her at the balcony. Seeing her, Angelus shared her worldview with her mother. She was happy that the blessings of mana had made this world perfect where discrimination and inequality do not exist, but she still couldn't understand why the Norma were born. She wants to find the cause of the birth of Norma and eradicate it so everyone can live happily with the blessings of mana. Sophia saw her daughter has matured, so she gave her the family ring. And her father did some setting to the mana detector for the baptism ceremony, and his son Julius saw everything. After that, the day of Angelus's baptism arrived. And she was supposed to take the throne of the Mitsurugi Empire to rule over it as a queen, but while the baptism was taking place, the mana reactor failed. And the truth about Angelus being a Norma was exposed to the entire kingdom, so Julius' son did all the settings his father had done to the reactor to expose her own sister to the public. So Sophia quickly took Angelus and tried to run away to a safe place, but they were captured at the exit. Sophia tells Angelus not to touch the light barrier. But Angelus still believes she isn't a Norma and tries to pass through. Mana barrier gets shattered upon her touch and it was confirmed that she was a Norma. Angelus was angry that they were aiming at the princess, so when she tried to attack, that soldier shoots at her, but her mother takes on that bullet and saves her. Sophia's last words were survive. And now Angelus was supposed to be disposed. Julius is now on his cloud 9 since he can now ascend to the throne to become the sole ruler of the kingdom, but aside from him, instead of being killed, Angelus was sent to a distant prison, and from this point forward, this prison will be her life, with a new place, and a new job, along with a new name of Ange. This prison trains the Norma to fight against the dragons that appear from a dimensional gate, and Commander Jill assigned Angelus to the first company under the command of Zola. Angelus still can't accept that she is a Norma and looks down on her companions. She was getting on their nerves by treating them as things. But Zola told her to get along with others because everyone here is Norma just like her, and it was time for the drill to train the new battle tactics. So Angelus and 2 other newbies joined them for their first training. This fight suits are called Paramale Simulator, but Angelus was on the training unit. At first she was nervous, but she got the hang of it instantly. Angelus was doing great in all of the training, and from then on she impressed Jill, and she had some future plans for the princess. But Angelus still had the princess's behavior and didn't get along with others, but other 2 girls named Coco and Miranda. Coco gave her her own portion of pudding, as she admired Angelus. Angelus accepted her goodwill, and both of them showed Angelus the concept of money and buying stuff with it. Coco liked the thought of the magical world where Angelus came from and wanted to become friends with her, but Angelus still doesn't get her situation and writes a letter. As for Zola, she was having her fun time with Hilda, but she was exhausted, so Zola thought of taking a walk outside to find a new prey. As for Angelus, she gave this letter to Jill to send it to all of the nation, and when Zola saw it, she took her away to engrave in her mind that she's a Norma now, not a princess. And she was about to eat her up when the alarm of the dragons started buzzing out, and all of the first company were given the orders to exterminate the enemies, including Angelus and the other 2 new recruits, but Angelus took advantage of the chance and tried to run away. So Salia tried to persuade Angelus to return, but she refused, and Coco, on the other hand, wanted to fulfill her dream of visiting the magical land and decided to follow Angelus. And that was her last word as she was killed by a dragon's attack. Salia draws back into formation to attack the dragon, but Angelus didn't care, even though Miranda tries to convince Angelus that she won't make it to the Empire on that unit alone, and right there, even Miranda got killed by the dragons because of Angelus. Her nuisance was just too much and Angelus got a panic attack and lost her mind. At that time, Zola and the others were in the middle of a fight with a huge dragon, and right then she distracted Zola and both of them were attacked by that dragon. Their units were destroyed. And because of Angelus, even Zola lost her life. Everyone at the base was furious at Angelus, and Chris and Rosalie were right that Angelus murdered Zola and the other two children in her stubbornness. But Angelus still believes that only humans can be murdered, which ticked off everyone, so Jill gave the position of commander to Salia and vice commander to Hilda. Then Angelus asked Jill about the letters she sent to the other nations. She was hoping for a response, but all of her letters were rejected. She heard one thing from Officer Emma: that the Miss Yorugi Empire was gone. It happened after Angelus was discovered as a Norma. That Jill believes citizens of the Empire started a revolution and the Empire got burned down in that revolution, but aside from that, as a punishment, Angelus had to bury the 3 soldiers girls who were killed because of her. The Norma kills the dragon horde to keep the humans safe. Norma dies while humans take their peace for granted on Norma's death, and Angelus still believes it has nothing to do with her, so Jill gave the pen of Emma. Angelus tried to use her mana to move it, but nothing happened. Jill tells her that this is the rule her humankind made for people without mana, and because of their selfishness, Norma dies. Just like Coco and Miranda, who were just 12-year-old kids, Angelus saw the harsh truth behind the peace she was living in, but right then, they found the dragon who took the chance and ran off. And Jill ordered Angelus to fight or die on the battlefield. Angelus had destroyed her unit back in the last fight, so Jill gave a rusty old model named Vilkas to Angelus. The first company moves out to kill the dragon, but Angelus was heading right towards the dragon to die, but she remembered her mother's words, to survive. And her dripping blood drops at her family ring, and that remodeled the entire Vilkas model into a shining set of armor. Her mother's word of survival changed Angelus, and she ended up killing the dragon all by herself, and from that moment on, she accepted her new life and new name, Ange, and decided to survive no matter what came next for her. After that, Angelus was getting a pro on the battlefield, and Vilkas was responding to Ange, which cleared out that Ange was the chosen one, so their plan for liberalization begins. But still Ange got Zola and those 2 kids die, so Salia thinks she won't survive, but Jill tells her to focus on the mission and warns them not to get caught by Emma. There's something big planned out that includes Ange, but Zola's underlings were ragging Ange. There, Emma saw Ange's dress and told her to buy a new one, and after that, Rosalie and Chris were trying to mess with Ange, but they failed every time. As for Hilda, she had planned something big. She bought the whole place Zola had and called dibs on 2 of the girls as well. Hilda didn't want to make Ange miserable, she wanted to get Ange killed. So she sabotaged her Vilkas unit when no one was around, so when the other dragon horde arrived, Ange's Vilkas had got its engine blasted off and she was drowned with the dragon, but when she woke up, she was right beside a mysterious man. So who's the guy besides her? If you want to watch more of this anime, then please tell me in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe the video. Till then, take care.